What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Chip Samblene. I grew up in Louisville, but I reside in Little River, South Carolina.
Okay. So I was about to start studying, and then you had asked me if I had a couple bucks because you need money for a state ID.
Yes,
So how come you don't have an ID?
because I just got out of prison.
Okay, so we just got out of prison. All right. So how long did you do?
I did 6 months in Lorraine Correctional.
You went to prison for only 6 months? I thought you go to jail for 6 months.
No, it was prison. It counted as a parole violation.
Okay, so you went. So what'd you go to prison for originally to get parole?
I originally went to prison for, fortunately, it was for robbery.
You're not gonna rob me, are you?
No.
Oh, okay, I don't got much. As you can see, the trailer's not doing too
Yeah,
good.
no. It was,
All right, so tell us about the robbery. What happened?
well, years ago, I was involved with the wrong crowd, and we were just doing stupid stuff, and I went into a speedway, and I asked for money, and
Did you have a gun, or did you
nope,
just slip?
I had no gun, no nothing.
So what did you tell them exactly?
I just asked them for the money in the register.
But you had no gun.
No gun, and they handed me the money, and
How much did you get?
it was only like $150.
Okay, so you leave the speedway. What'd you do with the money?
Well, at that point in time, I was actually involved in addiction,
Okay, all right. So
and actually, I was at my wit's end at that point in time. I actually told the clerk, "My name is Chip Samblene."
Samblene.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Please call the
I've never heard
police.
that name before.
I said, "Please call the police. This is my name." I was at my wit's end. I wanted stopped.
You needed a rest.
Yes, I wanted stopped.
All right.
And then I went to prison for that. I went to Belmont for a year for that.
I know a couple people from Belmont. I've interviewed them, but through the telephone.
I did a year in Belmont for that. Got out, got put on parole. Then I went down to South Carolina to start a new life for myself. And I opened up a new company called New Beginnings Landscapes in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Love it down
Did
there.
fantastic.
Yeah, love Myrtle Beach.
I lived in a gated community, in-ground pool, right on the intercoastal waterway where the casino cruise ships go up and down. And I came back up to Ohio to pick up my high school sweetheart to take her back south to get married and start a life. And I got pulled over on Route 30 for going 80 miles an hour, which I was used to going that fast because down in South Carolina, the speed limit's 70. So I got pulled over, and when they ran out our names years ago, my fiance, she filed a restraining order. She said she filed it to keep herself from me because she was obsessed with me. That's what she said.
Yeah, okay.
So there's never been no domestic violences or anything like that of that sort. But I had all of her stuff in my truck, which I had a white Chevy Silverado, and they took me straight to prison that day for parole violation for being with her.
All right, I got a question. Before you did the robbery at the Speedway, what other kind of crimes, other than drug stuff, like what other kind of crimes would you normally do?
I really wasn't into it. I mean, I do have a past.
What's the worst thing you've ever done that you got caught for?
It was a robbery.
It's.
I had theft. I got theft on my record, and I got B&E on my record.
What's that?
Breaking and entering.
What was that about?
When I was 19 years old, I broke into someone's house, and we took the computer.
Okay, it's like little kid stuff. This ain't major. You're not moving big things. So, would you say that most of your crimes is related to a drug addiction?
I would say yes. Back then, yes. Except for the first one. The first one was just I was trying to be cool and be with my buddies.
Okay.
And trying to be cool and fit in. And the second one was to do drugs.
How many fights did you get into in prison?
Honestly, not one.
How did you do that?
I just stayed myself and stayed me. I mainly focused on myself. I stayed in recovery, focused on IOP and stuff. Because I wanted to do right and get out. I didn't have any issues in prison with anybody. I didn't fight with anybody. I didn't have no issues at all. Nobody kicked my box and stole my property. Nothing. In fact, I helped as many people as I could.
Is what they say true in prison? Like with the whole, with the rape thing?
No, it's not true. It's not true. They don't come up and rape you or anything like that. If you want it, it's there. They'll give it to you, but
they're not going to come up to you and say, hey, I think you're pretty.
No, they're not. They might come up to you and say, what's up? But as long as you let them know, look, I'm not about that, they're perfectly fine.
Okay. All right. What's the thing about yourself that people walking up and down the street or driving past you would never think?
I used to be a pastor.
You used to be a pastor?
I used to at Indian River, I did ministry for Indian River for the kids.
Last question. What do we think about Drag Queen Story Hour with kids?
Drag Queen Story Hour.
There's a thing where drag queens, guys dressed up as women, they read stories to children. What do you think about that?
I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, everybody has their own choice to be who they want to be. And as long as they're not directing them in the wrong direction.
But don't you think that, me personally, I mean, don't you think that a man dressing up as a woman is like a sexual thing?
I think it's a little, personally, maybe a little weird. But if that's your choice, that's your choice. And as long as they're not directing our kids to forcibly be in that direction, if they're entertaining the kids by reading a book, let them read a book.
Okay, well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it, and good luck with your ID. And hopefully you don't go back to prison anymore.
No, I'm hopefully done with that, sir.